morning, everybody. I would like to welcome you all to yet another webinar session, which is being conducted by SolutionBuggy in conjunction with MSME DI and NIMSME. The event, as you all know, and you have been part of it over the last 3 days, is Food Pro Mega Summit 2022. It's a mega food summit that is being held across 5 days and across 10 sessions. They started on October 13th and will continue until tomorrow. The topic for today's session is we'll be covering the dairy, meat, and poultry processing, along with some emphasis on the seafood as well, wherein we talk majorly about the challenges and opportunities in this sector, along with the potential marketing channels for the same. Before I start, a quick one-line introduction of what SolutionBuggy does. We are an online platform to connect the manufacturing industries with the experts. We are proud to say that as of today, we are one of the largest platforms across India for the MSME sector. And we have about 10,000 experts on the platform and have completed around 2,300 projects across India over the last 6 years. I am Guru Prasad Bangle, Director at SolutionBuggy. I take care of the technology aspects here and also look after projects in the F&B sector. I have about 20 plus years of experience in consulting space. I would now like to thank all the associate sponsors for this event before introducing today's eminent panelists whom we have today. MSME DI, NIMSME, the Consulate of Israel, Wadhwani Foundation, WASME, NIAM, which is the National Institute of Agri-Marketing, NABI, which is an agri-business incubator, PBFIA, which is the Plant-Based Food Industry Association, India Startup 360, and APIDA. Thank you once again. In this session, I have with me two eminent food technologists and one entrepreneur. Since we are talking about the dairy sector and the meat processing sector. First of all, I would like to introduce Mr. Rakesh Kumar, who is a BTech in dairy and food with management qualifications from IIMA and BIMM Pune. He's worked with Amul, Nestle, GSK, Parle Agro, with Al Marai in Saudi Arabia, Unikai Foods in UAE and Oman, the Kuwait Dairy Company in Kuwait, and Open Country Dairy in New Zealand. He has executed projects in dairy, beverages, ice cream, and bakery products in India and overseas. Also wanted to mention at Amul, he has directed operations and sales to the tune of about 800 plus crores. He has also introduced the catering packs for the Horeca channel and has directly and indirectly managed a cross-functional team of about 300 plus people. He is currently helping startups, especially in the FMCG sector. And as of 2021, he has also been awarded the Man of Excellence by the Indian Achievers Forum. We welcome you, Mr. Rakesh Kumar.
Thank you.
Next, I have Mr. Rajan Matthews. He is a food and beverage senior management professional. He is involved in nurturing, growing, and developing startups and new brands, especially in the F&B sector. He is a former business head, consumer products and retail in processed poultry and meat division for Suguna Foods Limited. And he'll be talking about the opportunities in the meat processing sector. Next, I have Mr. Deepesh Nambiar, who is the head of manufacturing dairy operations in Vijay Dairy and Farm Products, which is located in Trichy, Tamil Nadu. He is again a graduate in dairy technology with more than 25 years of experience in the industry, spanning 5 countries and 5 organizations. He is proficient in managing manufacturing operations, including planning, resource management, and achievement of the targets. He will take us through the challenges that are being faced in a running dairy and ways to overcome them. We welcome you, Mr. Rajan Matthews and Mr. Deepesh Nambiar.
Hi, morning to everyone. Thanks.
Thanks, Guru Prasad, for the introduction, and welcome you all.
Thank you. So with that, without much further ado, I would invite Mr. Rakesh to take over and walk us through his presentation. Over to you, Mr. Rakesh.
Thank you, Mr. Guru Prasad. And thanks, SolutionBuggy, to organize this Food Pro Summit. And thank you, all the viewers. I hope I'll be presenting on the dairy processing today, and you will be benefited out of it. Maybe some of the queries I'll be able to answer today.
Yeah, we are able to see your screen.
Yeah, you can see the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start with my presentation. I'll be speaking on the dairy processing, closer look on the dairy processing. So we'll be, I'll just explain how the flow will be. So the flow of the presentation will be, we'll discuss on the introduction. I'll be covering why dairy is so important. Milk is a complete food. Then we'll discuss on the market size of the dairy industry, how it is in India as well as in the outside market. Then we'll see the emerging trends in the dairy industry, and in which I will be covering the India's journey of the milk. India leads the world in milk production, and some of the highlights of IDF World Dairy Summit. Recently, it is held in September, in the month of September in Noida, and it's an international event which happened in India this time. Then we'll be covering some of the examples of the innovative dairy products. We'll cover some new challenges or what are the opportunities available. We'll cover some new entrants or boom in the dairy industry currently. We'll cover some checklist and roadmap to start the dairy industry. I'll be speaking on we should start with a small or mini dairy, and what are the advantages of starting a mini dairy, and then with a tentative product mix. And then finally, we'll talk on the budget. If we want to start the dairy industry, what are the tentative budgets required? So first of all, I'll be covering the introduction. Why we are saying that dairy is important? Why? Because it is a great contributor to the economy. It is a livelihood for the farmers, and particularly in Indian market. I mean, there are small farmers, there are landless farmers who doesn't afford to have the agriculture. So they are connected to the dairy industry, and these small farmers, families, they are being taken care by the dairy industry. So that's why the livelihood of for the farmers. Then it covers the food security, nutrition, health, and wellness. So we'll be covering in the next slide why the milk is important for the human diet. Then we'll talk about the opportunities to associate industries. In one state or one place, when the dairy industry is opened, there are so many other associate industries, they're also getting benefited out of it. Then we'll talk about the employment creation. A lot of employment is getting created with the dairy. On an average, if we put up a dairy plant of 1 lakh liters, it creates almost 6,000 jobs. And that's why it's a big employment creation. Then it's a consumer satisfaction. So we are providing a lot of products. It's just not a milk, it's a bunch of the market and a bunch of the products available to the consumers for their satisfaction. And I cannot see the slide properly. Okay, so as recently the Niti Aayog, they submit a report that India is going to, in next 10 years, they are going to produce a lot of milk. Currently, we are at the level of 210 million metric tons. So in next 10 years, we are going to produce 330 million metric tons. And that means in next 10 years, we are going to create almost 13 million jobs. Okay, so that's a big contribution. Then we'll go to the milk is a complete food. milk is a complete food. Why? Because it is having fat, proteins, vitamins, minerals, and these are all required by our body and for all the ages. So that's why it's a complete food. You must have heard about the vegan recently, and there was a lot of news in the media, and then international market, there are a lot of products are coming plant-based and all. But at the same time, the milk is having its own advantages, it's having own nutritional factors. So that's why milk is very much important for the dairy industry. And secondly, as per one of the US Journal of Dairy Science, I mean, they mentioned that even if we exclude the milk from the human diet, it won't help much in the emissions control. Also, it will affect the human health. So that's also one of the factors. Then we'll talk about the market size of the dairy industry. We'll compare 2021 data and 2047, that is after 25 years. Currently, our Indian market, dairy market, is 13 lakh crores. And in the next 5 years, we are expecting it will reach 30 lakh crores by 2027. India's global share is around 23% at the moment, and we are expecting to reach it by 45% in next 25 years. Milk production is 210 million metric tons, and we are expecting at the rate of 4.5% growth, it will reach around 620 million metric tons. Milk demand, currently it is 205, and we are expecting it to reach by 517. Per capita milk availability, currently it is 428, and it is expected to reach by 852, that is a CAGR of 2.8%. So that means milk surplus, currently it is 5 million metric tons, it will reach to more than 100 million metric tons in the next 25 years. So means there is a lot of potential in the dairy industry, and currently we are doing just $0.35 billion export, while with this surplus milk in next 25 years, we are crossing $100 billion sale in the exports. Then we're covering emerging trends in the dairy industry. Now, in the emerging trends, first of all, let's see the journey of India's dairy sector. We were at a very low level when it was started by Dr. Kurian, the milkman. He started in 1946, and the White Revolution came, and it was started in Anand in Gujarat. And you can see the graph. We have started in 1951, we were at the level of 17 million metric tons, and currently we are at 210 million metric tons. So there's a big growth, and there are a lot of opportunities, and even almost 100 million farmers, 10 crore farmers are connected with the dairy industry pan-India. India leads the world in milk production. You can see this graph, although the data is for 2019, but you can see that we are at the top, and we are ahead of all the other countries, the developing countries. We are ahead of that. And that's the reason it's a great contributor to our economy, and it's a great contributor to the jobs creation also. Then recently, the Dairy Summit, International Dairy Summit, was held in Noida in the month of September, and very big dignitaries from the different countries, they were present during this show. And this summit was inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. And we are growing at the rate of 6%, while world is growing at the rate of 2%. So you can see that how far we are already there in the dairy industry. Then the size of the Indian dairy market jump over twofold to 30 lakh crores by 2027, as per the current market of 13 lakh crores, as per our chairman of NDDB, Mr. Manish Shah. Then the summit focus was on the dairy for nutrition and livelihood, which was very relevant to our Indian economy and Indian population. Because dairy for nutrition means a lot of nutritional products are required apart from the milk, which is already a nutritional product. And then the livelihood, because in Indian scenario, very small farmers or landless farmers, they are connected to the dairy industry. And that's why we are taking care of the livelihood of these farmers. And that's why the summit focus was also on the nutrition as well as the livelihood. And fortunately or unfortunately, it has not happened in last 48 years in India. This summit, it's an international event, happened every year in one of the country. But unfortunately in India, it happened after 48 hours. So it is we are lucky, I think, that at least it has started, and people internationally, they are aware that India is doing big progress in the dairy industry. Then Mr. Brasley, he's the president of the International Dairy Federation. He also mentioned that India is the future of the global dairy industry and has a huge potential to increase the milk output. So these are some of the statements, and very valid statements, and which has started increasing the momentum of the dairy industry in the Indian market. Then we'll talk about the examples of the innovative dairy products. Now, milk is already a very good product, and in India, every household, they start their day with the milk. So already there's a lot of consumption happening in Indian market, and consumers, they prefer the milk, or the fresh milk they prefer. But there's a need to add some value, particularly during pandemic. A lot of people, they feel that the products with immunity boosting or with health boosting products, they are required in the market. They are required by the consumers. And that's why these value-added products are required. And there's a lot of innovation has already been done during the pandemic, but still there is a scope to improve. So some of the conventional products, I can say that the fermented products, which is dahi, buttermilk, and lassi, these are already available since centuries in every home. And now there is a industrialized products are available in these products. Paneer, that is also value-added product. Ice cream, we are at a very low level of consumption currently, while developing countries, US and New Zealand and other countries, they're at a very high consumption level. So there's a big scope in the ice creams. Cheese varieties, a lot of pizzas. Now Western cultures we are following, and the new generations, they are following the westernized things. So definitely the cheese is also a big market. Extended shelf life milk. Now milk is a very perishable product. It cannot stay more than 1 or 2 days. If it is not handled properly, it will spoil. So that's why there is a requirement to extend the shelf life of the market milk. And that's why there's a requirement to improve the quality at every level. Then the long shelf life milk, you must have seen the Tetra Paks are available nowadays, or the pouches are available from Tetra Paks with a shelf life of 80 days, 120 days, and 6 months even. Then flavored milks. So this is also value addition in the milk by adding some different flavors. And for the kids, they are very, very good products. Then there are probiotics, immunity boosting products like drinking yogurts. So in the probiotics also, they takes care of the immunity, they takes care of the gut health and digestion system. So they are also the innovative products. And then now most of the companies, they are coming into the traditional sweets. It's a big market, but still we are, some companies, they already started like Haldirams and all, even Amul has started. But now consumers, they want the packaged products, good quality product. They're looking for the quality products. And that's the reason these sweets are also, they need the proper packaging and proper shelf life. Although the liquid milk, it is a good market. Amul, for example, they are doing, almost all the states. It's a good driving factor for the sale, but it's not that profitable. And that's why the innovative products are required and the value-added products are required. Now we'll talk about the new entrants of the boom in the dairy industry.
Does skim milk powder also come into this sector?
Yes. Even all the milk powders are coming into this category. But I skipped. Why? Because currently the cost of the milk is very high. And that's the reason, the skim milk powder, people are afraid to make the skim milk powder. Earlier, there was a scenario that we were having surplus milk powders, and now even the milk price is so high. Yeah. So then the new entrants during this IDF summit, there were many entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs who, showcases their products during this show. Milky Mist, one of the dairy in the south, they started in 2019, and they started a lot of the value-added products. Recently, they launched Icelandic high-protein yogurt range, and also the Greek yogurt they started now. Further, they are also investing 500 crores more into the ice creams, chocolates, and UST milk. So that means there is a big potential. Then all-time record, Milma. Milma, it's a very old cooperative in Kerala. But this time, there was a 11% higher sale during the Onam festival. They sell almost 95 lakh liters of milk during the Onam. Now, A2 Milk Company, Provilac, extends its footprint to Hyderabad. So they are supplying the A2 milk, and it is from the gear cows. And they are able to deliver the milk within 12 to 24 hours. Okay. Then there's a company in Portland, Neutral Foods. They are offering the carbon neutral products, which is currently the discussion going on everywhere to reduce the carbon emissions. And they raises almost $12 million to scale further. ITC is contributing the nation's Poshan Abhiyan to enhance the nutrition value of the products, to address the concerns like anemia, digestive health, diabetes, immunity, etc. Now, organic dairy Akshay Kalpa, there is $15 million, and they are supplying the organic milk and organic milk products across India. Ankita, a software engineer from Rajasthan, she started her job in Germany and then left the job just to start the organic milk with just 7 lakh rupees and 7 cows. And currently she's earning a profit of 33 lakhs annually. Nestle committed 5,000 crores in India in next 5 years. Mother Dairy expecting 20% growth this fiscal with 15,000 crores turnover. And already you see that Amul, Nandini, and many big brands, they are already exceeding their sales. Now we'll discuss on the new challenges or opportunities. With the recent propaganda, or what I say, it may not be propaganda, but the promotion of the vegan diets, a lot of synthetic milk startups have come, and they're claiming that it's giving the smaller or lesser carbon footprint and will cause less pollution. So a lot of companies, at least in outside India, they have started coming in this. So industry is expanding rapidly. In the US, cow-free dairy proteins produced by the firm Perfect Day are widely used in products, including ice creams, cheese, chocolates, and protein powders. Another American startup, New Culture, is commercializing a synthetic milk-based mozzarella. Israeli Milk Remilk has set up a giant facility in Denmark to produce cheese, yogurt, and ice cream. All G Foods and CSIRO spin-off company, Eden Brew, are racing to bring the products to Australian market within the next 2 years. Most synthetic dairy companies are focusing on producing the milk proteins by using yeast. And even the lab-grown milk is considered the next food frontier, says Dr. Diana of Curtin University Sustainability Policy Institute. So it means, a lot of milk, you can call it as a synthetic milk, or it is a vegan diets milk, or animal-free milks, they are coming. But at the same time, you can see the graph that US dairy, this year, 2021, there was a high growth, exceptionally high growth, particularly in the yogurt, cheese, and butter. Also, the dairy demand worldwide, it has grown by 36% between 2007 and 2017. And, populations are increasing, our incomes are increasing. And so that means lot of products are required, lot of milk is required, lot of milk products are required. So we don't have to worry on this synthetic milk industry. We have to grow our dairy industry also in the same form, because there will be room for all. I can just share one example.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I can share one example of Amul when they launched in Delhi NCR, I think in 2006 or 7. So they put up a very small plant, maybe 8 to 10 lakh liters a day. And Amul was doing a couple of lakhs in Gujarat market, but they were afraid because the market was not that much. Already there was Mother Dairy, there was a DMS, and there were some small private players. So when they started with 5,000 liters and then reached to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. But now if you see dairy market, I mean, all the players together, Amul, Mother Dairy, and some of the private players, they are able to sell almost 70 lakh liters of milk per day. While in 2006 or 7, they were selling only 20 lakh liters a day. So that means market has grown. And secondly, the market is being converted from the unorganized sector to the organized sector. And mainly with the incomes increasing, population increasing, and the pollution scenarios and the FSI, they are coming, they are tightening the standards. So that means the lot of companies, they are improving their products, and at the same time, the customers also, they are focusing more on the quality products. Instead of earlier, some people, they were buying from the local dudhwalas. Now they're also shifting to the organized dairy sector, and which is the reason the growth is there in the dairy sector.
Also, recently, I think there was an article that the synthetic milk cannot be called as milk or something like that.
Yes,
So there
that's
was
right.
some protest.
Yeah.
Right.
So it will not be, it's already done now. It will not be milk. It will be something else. But I mean, see, there are people and there are customers for everything. So, I mean, we cannot relate that, okay, because vegan diet is coming, so we have to stop the dairy industry. No, I don't think so. And with a lot of impetus, importance during this summit, I mean, we can see that there was a lot of potential in the market, and a lot of new startups are coming in the dairy industry. Now we'll talk about the checklist and the roadmap to start the dairy industry. Now, before venturing into the sector, every prospective entrepreneur needs to know the business potential of the setting up of a small, medium, or large capacity dairy plant. Should have a basic idea of the investment plan and the product mix as per the market trend. Why it is important is because, I mean, we cannot start something and then later on we realize, oh, this is not the market requirement. We need to go for something else. And we have examples of big multinational companies like Danone and Fonterra. So Danone failed here, although they are very famous and they are selling a lot of products outside India. They're selling a lot of yogurts and drinking yogurts and flavored yogurts. But in India, they were not able to sell it because Indian market is a different market. Then some of the important factors to be considered. And these are the critical factors we need to consider before we plan for the dairy industry. Milk procurement. Milk procurement is a very gray area because milk is available means at what price, whether it is cow milk, whether it is buffalo milk, what rate it will be, what is the market demand, how is the quality, what products are required and which kind of milk is required, marketing system, how the product will be distributed from the factory, size of the dairy plant, what size of the dairy plant we should start, site selection, requirement of the plant and machinery, level of automation, because currently, earlier we were always thinking that, okay, just put up a plant, semi-automatic or manual plant, and then later on we can add on some automation. But now the scenario is changing. A lot of quality requirements are there. Even the customers are learned, and there is a lot of competition in the market. With the e-channels, I mean, you can just Google any of the product and find what is the price, what is the quality, who is selling, what are the other, which are the other suppliers and all. So customers are also very much aware of the things. So that's why we need to decide what level of automation, capital required, how much capital is required. Then what are the loan and government subsidies are available? What is the capital, working capital required to run the dairy? Legal compliance. There are a lot of licenses are required to start the dairy. Then the seasonal changes. In dairy industry, particularly because of the buffalo milk and mixed milk, there's always a lean season and there's a flush season. So winters we have a surplus milk and summers we have a shortfall. So we need to see how much is the fluctuation, what is to be done for that, to take care of that. So then now the major areas we need to focus is the high quality raw milk, consistent quality of the products. We cannot afford that, okay, one day we can produce good quality and later on we can go with the normal quality products. No, that's not possible now. Extended and long life shelf life and ambient storage products, health promoting products, legal compliance and digitalization. The COVID has told us that digitalization is very much important. Even you can supply your products while sitting at home also. So that's why they're also very important. Now, this is my suggestion that whenever we want to plan a dairy, we should start with a small or mini dairy. Why to do that is, advantages is it's easy to handle, can supply milk to consumers within 24 hours, can supply in loose through vending machines, in bottles and pouches, and so on. I mean, you can decide the packing or you can see what is the demand. It's a cheap labor, low capital cost is required, lower processing cost is required, and local advantage when you are stationed there near to the market. So there's an advantage to you to sell the products. Then you can explore the institutional sale, nearby hospitals, ashrams, old age homes, dhabas, sweet shops, and so on. Higher margin or shorter payback period. Earlier, there was, just giving one example, earlier we were having only the table butter, that is with the salt. But in the northern side, you can see most of the dhabas, they are using butter for the chapatis or naans. But they don't need the salt because people are, the consumers are very health conscious nowadays. So that's why they were making their own butter, white butter without salt. Now, even the companies also, they started producing the white butter without salt, and it's a big market. So these are some of the products which you can start when you are in the local market and you can understand what are the requirements of there. I have not covered here the process flow, how the things will be in the process of the dairy industry. I'll just take 2 minutes to explain. The process flow to produce the milk in the dairy industry is, first is the milk collection, then it's a quality checks. Once the quality is okay, then it is chilled in the chilling system or the BMC cooling system. And then again, quality is checked and then it is transferred to the plant, the factory, the dairy industry. And then again, at the plant level, the quality is checked. And the quality is checked at all levels for the fat SNF as well as all the adulterants, all the, I mean, anything which can be there. And the microbiological testing is done at the plant. Then the milk is processed. It is pasteurized between 72 to 75 degrees centigrade and then immediately cooled to 4 degrees centigrade. And if required for some of the products, homogenized milk, then to keep the fat constant in every drop of milk. So then homogenization is required. And then for cream separation, for other products and standardization, or to producing butter and ghee. So there is a separate room. So after processing of the milk, you can take out the cream for butter and ghee, and milk will be stored and then packed into the either into the pouches or bottles or whatever, and then creating and then needs to store at the 4-degree temperature before it goes to the market. So we need to plan the dairy in a hygienic way, and focus should be on the quality product. so that we can compete in the market. Secondly, the product mix. I mean, milk, there are a lot of possibilities. You can produce milk, you can produce skim milk, low fat, high fat. You can produce cream, butter, ghee, khoa, paneer, curd, lassi, whatever it is. But focus on one product first, so that you stabilize the quality, you stabilize the production, and then you add on the other products. Then we'll talk about the approximate budget required to start the dairy industry. A small dairy, let's say around 200 liters per day, it's just a 10 to 12 lakh liters. Small dairy, 50 to 75,000, it's 9 to 10 crores. Medium dairy, 100 to 150,000, it is a little bit higher. But the question is, these are the just tentative figures. It depends on the product mix. It depends on the level of automation you require. So we need to plan as per our requirement, as per the demand in the market, as per the customers, what they are looking for. So these are the tentative. If we want to go in the details, somebody wants more details, we can have more details for them. Secondly, there are areas where we can reduce the cost. But that's why while designing a dairy plant, we need to see where we should do the production, where we should do, because the milk availability should be nearby, the market should be nearby. So those are the areas we need to consider before we plan for the dairy industry. Now, on the quality, I would like to share one example. One of the client, he called me once and he said, our milk is getting spoiled after 3-4 hours in the market. So I said, okay, so what can I do for you? He said, no, we want some consultancy to improve the quality of the milk. So then I asked him the process, how they are doing it. He said, yes, we take the milk and we pack it in the pouches and we send it to the market. And then after 3-4 hours, we start getting the curdling complaints. I said, in winter it is okay, but in summer, are you doing some chilling or something? He said, no, we are not doing anything. We are straight away, it's a raw milk, straight away from the farmers, we are getting it and we are processing it and sending it to the market. So means the awareness is the issue. So how can I improve him? How can I help him? I said, I cannot help you. You need to get something, at least the minimum requirement of chilling the milk at least. Even if you want to sell the raw milk, you have to control the temperature of the milk, because the bacteria, it's already there and then it starts multiplying with the temperature rise. So the quality of the milk is very, very important. And then you can plan the other products. Yeah, that's all for me. And if there are any questions, we can respond to that.
Yeah, I think we will keep the questions to the end.
Sure.
After we listen to the other participants. Thank you, Mr. Rakesh, for a wonderful overview of the entire dairy processing sector, and also giving some really good insights for an entrepreneur on what are the products he can look at, especially with a lot of now emphasis on vegan based milks. I don't know what else to call it, because right now it is being called as milk. So many of our entrepreneurs want to know, will there be a significant downfall in the the requirement of actual milk, considering that there are a host of other kind of options that are coming up in the market. I think this has put that to rest and also given them a confidence on the potential market in the dairy processing sector. With that, I would now want to call upon Mr. Deepesh Nambiar from Vijay Dairy Farms, who is currently a part of the dairy industry. So over to you, Deepesh. Maybe you can walk us through the challenges that your industry is facing, and also what are the tidbits or the pros and cons that you would want to share with the entrepreneurs.
Okay, thanks, Guru Prasad. I'm audible, right? Clear?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So Mr. Rakesh has already told whatever is there about the dairy. So I would just like to give a brief introduction about the growth story of the dairy I am in. Vijay Dairy and Farm Products is a very strong brand in central Tamil Nadu at the moment. and we have been in the business from 1994. And dairy actually is something that you have to be very passionate about, because it's a live product that we are talking about. And Vijay Dairy and Farm Products, how it has been working is that in spite of the turbulences and the turmoils that have happened in the region, as far as dairy is concerned, we are still alive and kicking. And that is because we have been running ahead of times. We started the milk procurement base, as Mr. Rakesh said, is the basic on which we have to work. And there are a lot of challenges on that side. The biggest challenge in procurement is that there is a price war, okay, as the competition is too high. That is number one. Number two, the adulteration and the contaminants that come on the ground where we have to work on. So what we did is we had started village level cooperatives, wherein all the milk from the villages comes to a central point, wherein we have 10 chilling centers which are placed in different districts. And from there, the milk comes to the factory. So one that has helped us in keeping a check on the quality. And when we talk about quality, as Mr. Rakesh said, the knowledge on the ground is still missing. For example, just to quote an example, the evening milk, the milking is done twice in a day. So it's morning and evening. So what happens is evening milk is mixed with the morning milk, and then it comes to the factory. So the temperatures are high, and we are actually having a control on the MBRT, which stands for methylene blue reduction test, which shows the initial microorganisms that are coming into the dairy. So that is one thing we have taken total charge control of. So we do have farmers in our circle who have been with us for the last 25 years. So that is how the loyalty is being built. It's not on the price, it's on the quality, and it's on awareness. And as Mr. Rakesh was showing, the biggest competition that we have is from loose milk, right? Because he was showing 65% as the unbranded market that is there, unorganized sector. In Tamil Nadu, we are a bit better. It's 52.1%. That is one big opportunity, wherein we can have the market is huge. There is a demand. So what actually is missing in dairy today is the procurement side, wherein if the supply is there, we can go ahead. And then the basics of raw milk is that the material balance control, because milk is purely on fat and SNF. So we are actually paying the farmers on total solids. I think in some parts of the north also this is being done, but this side it's totally on the TS. So based on total solids, more the total solids, the farmers get paid more. So that's how the pricing structure is. Now, when we talk unorganized sector, I would say that actually the dairy processing industry itself also is not as organized as it should be, in the sense that prices are not regulated. So one company increases the price and others follow suit. And that's why today the milk prices are at a sky high. And for that, we have to increase the sales prices. Recently, I think 2 days back, everybody has increased by 2 rupees. And that is just to keep their organization moving. And that is the biggest challenge. If we have a processors union, as many countries in the West, as well as in Africa and Middle East have, if there is a regulation on how the prices will go, if it's a union sort of a thing wherein we can decide together that this is the way the prices are going, then that would be do a very big advantage in the dairy, wherein everybody can have a share. Here, if one increases the prices, because prices are dependent on the margins of the sales that we do. Because if the portfolio mix, as Mr. Rakesh said, is fine, you might be into a product which is giving a big margin, but that should not mean that the raw milk prices go as per your needs. There has to be a regulation that this is the range wherein we can be playing in this season. Secondly, the big another challenge that we are facing is the global warming. So we are not able to estimate the trend, how it is going to be, because the rains have started early sometimes, and that affects the procurement. So we might be projecting at a procurement range, which suddenly backfires because it hasn't rained or there is a drought in some area, or something of that sort happens, and we are caught in the middle. So this is another challenge that as a entrepreneur we have, because then there is chances of adulteration in the back end, wherein the stringent checks has to be there. Now, with much of automation coming in, eco-scan, lacto-scans on the ground level, even farmers understand. Because milk is totally, when we say fat and SNF, fat is fine, it can be tested. But when we speak of SNF, that is solids, not fat, it can be any solid that is added to the milk increases the SNF. So we have to be very stringent. And here FSSAI has to play a very strong role, because there have been instances wherein the big dairies reject milk and it is accepted by small players. So that is where, if one quality has to be regulated, as I was talking about the price, quality is also very, very much in the hands of the government, wherein the checks have to be more stringent, so that the small dairies wherein this milk is pumping in, the unorganized sector, loose milk, it has to be stopped. So as a group, this has to be dealt with. As Mr. Rakesh showed, that Milky Mist, big players like Milky Mist have been pumping in crores. So those are in our neighborhood. So when we are at a middle level dairy, we find it very tough to be in competition in terms of prices, in terms of the quality and other things, material balance, MBRT, and the contaminants in milk. All these are getting regulated. So if everybody, all the dairy entrepreneurs speak in one voice, this is something that the government needs to heed to. I'm talking from the ownership level, wherein this is one of the most important challenges being faced in the dairy industry. Now, if I come to the process, now we have been in the industry for the last 28 years. So the processes have been automated. And I just want to add that we are the first people in this region who had started SAP on the procurement level as well. Six modules are in action from 2009. So that has helped us in keeping our procurement base intact in terms of the incoming quality, and online we can have the payment regulations. So these are some aspects which has helped us to stay still alive and kicking. And as it was said that now with the social media coming in, we are talking about vegan milk, we are talking about non-dairy substitutes. So as dairy technologists, we need to convey to the world as a group that even the word non-dairy substitute is wrong, because we are, on one side we are talking about organic farming and other things. So calcium and lactose, which comes only in milk, from where are they going to add it? Something has to come out of that same level. So the dairy word should not be allowed to be used. And I think as Mr. Rakesh and Guru Prasad said, that it's in motion. So if that comes in play, we can be. Now, I was just reading a paper wherein they were saying that the lumpy cow disease, which has come in north in Rajasthan and many other states, it spreads to people as well, the people who drink milk. So these misconceptions, it's not a truth, but it happens that through the social network, this gives a big jolt to the dairy factories. So this is one thing. So when I was coming to processing, the analogs, the pollution, the food safety, all this is what are the challenges which we face in processing. So we have affluent treatment. So most of the dairies that you find, because we are in the dairy which is in the outskirts, so we are fine. But we still see that there are some people who go off track. So all these regulations, once it is stringent, then you will see that automatically the quality that is coming out, and the consumers who are taking our milk will have that added confidence in getting it. So the only thing that has kept Vijay alive is quality. And because of the automation and the SAP systems and the core, the long-lasting and mutually developing relationship that we have with shared commitment and passion, we have been able to withstand. But we have to keep on thinking today to survive, because the world is moving at a very fast pace. And as it was being shown in the projections that the dairy production is growing by 4%, organized sector is growing by 15%. All that is fine, but we need to have a regulatory authority which keeps a very iron hand on how the things are going. Now coming to the lower end, wherein the sales. So sales is something that is very important, because at the end of the day, what a dairy asks for is profits, right? So as it was mentioned, cold chain breach is one big problem. We might be dispatching milk from the gate at around 3 to 4 degrees, but by the time it reaches the consumer, it might have reached even 21 degrees, because the cold chain, in spite of having refrigerated containers, it is still a matter in which people are not aware as to what should actually be the temperature when they reach their its hand. So even in the procurement side, for the small village level, we are thinking of RMCs and BMCs already there in some points, wherein they can cool the temperature of the milk at the point itself, so that by the time it comes to the chilling center, we are already at 4 degrees. So it makes it easy for the flow, and the quality remains. The same thing has to happen on the sales side as well. So cold chain breach is one big problem that we face on the dairy side, on the sales side. So that is how things are, and the margins are totally getting affected because of the procurement prices and processing costs, the raw material intake. And every dairy that has a vision to survive needs to have a very, very strong supply chain management. Why I'm saying this is, Vijay Dairy and Farm Products is alive even in spite of the all this pandemic and corona, just because of the supply chain we had. The big players, of course, made profits. We were able to survive those years just because the supply chain has list of vendors who have been with us for the long term. We have our own transportation company, which is transferring our milk. Now, to keep ourselves alive, we have also expanded our base to some non-dairy areas as well, from which are our system concerns like idli and dosa batter and even dry powders. And then we have a powder plant which is actually was made for skimming the excess milk that we will receive. But of late, it has become one of our big margin products because of the scarcity of milk in the north. We are sending our milk powder to North India. We are also thinking of exports in near future. So if you do not keep on thinking new, you are going to fade out or fizzle out of this market. That's how I would like to tell from the point of ownership level, wherein not as a professional, but as from seeing from the margins that we get, or the sustainability of how a dairy has to work. So in a nutshell, what I want to emphasize here is that there has to be a support to the private industry from the government level, because the competition here is with semi-government cooperatives. Like in Tamil Nadu, one of our biggest challenges are Avin, which is having subsidized milk. So to keep ourselves alive, it is normally a daily thinking process, wherein we have to keep our eyes and ears open to what's happening in the world. As Mr. Varakesh showed in his last slide, that there is a lot of advancement happening. So if we do not stay with the changing times, we will go the way many small dairies all over India have fizzled out. So if any entrepreneur has to start a dairy, he should first look at the back end, that is procurement, as was said before, and sales will automatically happen if the back end is strong. And companies with a strong back end have only been able to survive, because our comparison here is with Amul, and because a housewife, when she goes to a shop to buy milk, it's very rare that it's by the name of the brand. She says cow milk, and that's where you have to be visible, and that's where ATL, BTLs, all these are going to help. But for starting a dairy, it's very necessary that the back end of procurement is the base wherein we have to start, so that if everybody is giving quality, we are actually doing a social service to the nation. As that has to go forward in a that has to be conveyed to everybody in as good terms as we can, because now through social network we are able to reach more people than ever before, and this is the best time for us to stand like a team and have a regulatory authority and a union of the processes wherein we can bring a change. So, Mr. Guru Prasad, I do not have much more to say because Mr. Rakesh has already covered a lot of topics.
Sure. That was very informative. No, because we need to know both the pros and cons. But before I leave you, so you said you have been operational for the last 28 years.
Yes.
Right. So what is the capacity now that you process?
Now we have limited it to 1.5 lakhs
per day.
Yeah, per day.
Okay. And
we are limiting it because I don't know, Mr. Guru Prasad, we are in already SolutionBuggy is connected to us.
Right. I know.
We
So
are in our powder
working on a
plant.
project.
So all that things are happening here. We are automating our powder plant. So for that we are limiting it, but we have a future plans of expanding more. So
right. So my next question is that, say, if there is a lot of demand. I don't know if it's a demand or a perceived demand for the A2 related milk products or A2 ghee, A2 butter and things like that. So and also the cost, the price also is much higher compared to the normal ghee. In fact, I was surprised that one of the brands was selling at even at 2,000 rupees per kilo. So is this something that is that an entrepreneur can look at, or is it something of kind of a passing fad?
We can look up to that, but I think this is something that has blown out of proportion. It's of late it has started. So because they organic farming and things like this, but as it was said earlier that this livelihood of the farmers will be affected on this, because A2 is not something that everybody can do, and A2 is nothing. It's not nutritionally something you are taking a twofold that a man having A2 is healthier than the other guy. It doesn't happen like that. It's just a projection that many companies are doing. So I don't think this is here for long to stay, because all dairies cannot be going fully into the A2 milk.
So what you're saying is, there could be some perceived benefits, but if you look at it at a long term, it's still, not really significant.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Maybe before I start off with the session with Mr. Rajan, I think there is one question. How do they process whey water, which we get after processing milk into paneer? And is there any byproduct?
There are a lot of byproducts, but the big byproduct is whey protein concentrate. But for that, which is used by bodybuilders in
the whey protein powder.
In the whey protein concentrate, but that requires a big investment because that's a powder plant. But we also have, I think Amul had long time back started some whey flavors which didn't click. Whey flavored some drink they had started, but it didn't click. So for a normal persons like us on a middle level dairy, it's very difficult for us to make whey protein concentrate. So what can be done is this whey water can be used because it has around some SNF. So it can be used in milk, but testings have not been finalized yet. So most of the dairies on this side of the region are actually draining it. But whey protein concentrate is something that can be made, or whey flavored some drink can be thought of. So R&D is going on this.
Okay.
Amul is already making a drink out of it.
Yeah.
They are adding some percentage of the whey and into the, I think, lassi or some chach, and they're already selling it.
Right. But I think Hatsun already has. Hatsun, which is a major player in South, already has 2-3 whey drinks, and that's doing well. In fact, they have at 5 rupee point and 10 rupee points.
But whey milk has not, whey drink has not taken up the way it has not taken over. Means it's there in the market, but it's not as saleable as it was perceived to be.
Right. I think one other continuation question. You mentioned that the procurement costs are increasing day by day. So what is the reason for that?
The reason is number one, scarcity on any part of the region. Like now, North India is facing scarce because of this lumpy cow disease and etc. So what they do is they buy powder from the south to make the reconstitution. Reconstitution is actually milk plus powder plus water. So for that, the demand is high now. So all the dairies are producing powder now to keep for the rainy days. So that's why the demand is high. And because of the uneven rains, actually the milk production is gone down. Today, actually it should have been the peak. The flush season has started, but it hasn't as it should have. So that's why, because of the scarcity of milk, and then as I said, the high margin product producers are pulling milk. It's a poaching going on, wherein you give 1 rupee more and pull our guys. So that's where the loyalty quotient has to be very high with the farm level.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Mr. Dipesh, for this wonderful insight. Maybe I'll come back to you if I have more questions at the end of the session. With that, I would now want to invite Mr. Rajan Matthews to talk more about the opportunities and the possible, things that an entrepreneur can look at from a meat processing angle. Over to you, Mr. Rajan.
Yeah, thanks, Guru Prasad. Let me first share the screen.
Sure. Yeah, we're able to see.
Are you see?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's on.
No, not now. It was on before. Yeah, now it's on.
Okay. Now, let me start. What are the opportunities in the meat and poultry sector? The topics that will be covered are what are the major market sizes for different types of meat and processed meats? What are the emerging trends? What are the innovative products? What is the roadmap to start, or the hiccups and investments that are required? And what are the key success factors? Now, let me first look at the potential. If you see the meat, poultry is today the major source of meat in India. It's almost 36% of meat that is consumed in Indian market. It has outpaced two competitors, which is your beef and veal and buffalo meat. And the other major problem, reason why poultry has become a major meat source is that because of the high mutton prices, religious restriction on beef and pork. These are the things. Plus, seafood also has a limited availability in the coastal regions, because of which consumption levels have also not gone up. And plus, one of the major reasons why poultry has become a major source of meat is that domestic production has increased, and a lot of increasing in integration, which have pushed the poultry meat prices down and has stimulated its consumption. Today, if you see the poultry meat prices, it varies between 250 to 270 rupees per kg. But whereas if you see the beef, it's around 400 and mutton and all, it's at much higher level. The other thing is fish, and the two smaller big fish and all, it's around 1,000 rupees per kg. So obviously, price wise, poultry is one of the major thing. And then why? Because most of the domestic production has become integrated. When I say integrated, all these poultry majors like your Venky's, Sugana, Godrej, and so many other players are there. They have they do everything by themselves, from the hatching the chick, to the feed, to the equipment, to vaccinations, to complete up to the live bird rearing, and then most of them have also gone into processing. So that's the major reason why poultry has become one of the major source of meat in India. If you see what is the percentage wise, poultry meat is around 36%, buffalo meat is 22%, goat meat is 18%, pig or your is around 9%, sheep is 8%, and then other meats are 6%. So 36%, almost 1/3 of the meat production is poultry production only. If you look at seafood, which is one small thing, is seafood, we say that it is in the nascent stages, and then one of the major thing is that 95% of the business is only in the wet markets, that is open wet markets. And today, if you see, it is the seafood market is at around 6,500 crores, but by 2027, it is expected to cross 19,500, a CAGR of 18%. That's the seafood potential in Indian market. Why meat and poultry processing is very important for India? One of the major reasons being is that India has the largest population of livestock, whether it is buffalo, cows, goat, sheep, everything, because of the arable land. And India produces around 5.3 million tons of meat and 75 billion eggs annually. India is today the third largest egg producer in the world after USA and China. And also India is the largest producer of buffalo meat and second largest producer of goat meat. The current, unfortunately, the processing level of meat is very low. If you see, poultry is only 6%, 5 to 6% of the meat produced is only processed. So there's a huge potential. Whereas if you see the advanced countries, the processing, the meat processing is very high. It goes up to 50 to 60, 70%. So obviously there's a huge potential for processing, especially poultry in India, which is at 5% to 6%. Whereas for meat, which is your buffalo or beef or sheep, and thing, it stands at 21%. Similarly, if you see seafood, seafood is also around 24, 25%. Basically, because seafood has to come from the coastal area to inland, so that's the reason why it is very high. And poultry is also highly vertical, as I said, a integrated industry. And also, Government of India has taken steps for modernization of municipal abattoirs. Municipal abattoirs in the sense that where it is meat are processed or cut live and then sold to the consumers. Why is processed poultry has a high potential is that one is because of the changing lifestyle and demographic profiles. Today, Indian consumers, especially after COVID, are more health conscious and are willing to spend more towards healthy and clean food. There is, in fact, after 90s, there is introduction of QSR such as McDonald's, KFC, Mary Brown, and so many outlets which are fueling the growth of processed industry. Similarly, modern trade, which has such as supermarkets and shopping malls, is also supporting the growth because they provide the chilled and frozen facility for poultry products. Okay. Similarly, there is a national meat and processing which is taking a greater role in developing the chilled or frozen food poultry market. So this is the major thing is that yes, definitely one is per capita consumption is going up, expanding middle class, younger and growing population, more and more people are moving to villages and cities, and then there is government roles to create awareness on processed meat and protein. So this is the reason why processed poultry is slated for major growth in the market. Today it is at 5 to 6%. Yes, definitely it is the huge potential to grow. But what are the major challenges also for processed chicken? One is consumer awareness. Today, consumers still prefer to go to a live counter where they see the bird being processed or to meat, and then in front of them, and then but these counters are very unhealthy, unhygienic. So that is one of the major challenge. Retail is one of the major challenge for processed poultry. What are the other regulatory and policies for healthy development is another major thing. We have to look at increasing the domestic standards to international levels in processing chain. Even a country like Sri Lanka, where they don't have such wet markets, they have all retail outlets where processed meat is sold. So it is only in India you find where open markets where live birds are cut and given. There's pollution issues which are being created. There is no uniform national meat quality and testing laboratory. There is requirement of enough training institutes. A lot of research is required, and government should actively promote and regulate the meat. These are some of the challenges that face the processed chicken. If you look at which are the major meat producing states in India, it is Haryana, West Bengal, followed by Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Maharashtra. These are the major meat producing states. When I'm saying meat producing, these are the places where meat also is consumed and then it is produced. Similarly, meat producing states in India are UP, West Bengal, AP, Haryana, and Tamil Nadu. What about eggs? Eggs is one of the big producers of states are AP, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Punjab, and Kerala. These are the states where egg production is very high. And if you look at how the poultry meat is growing, as I said earlier, also it is going to touch around 6 million metric tons but per capacity consumption of meat, that is kgs of meat consumed by a person is very, very less at 5.986. Whereas if you see National Institute of Nutrition recommends at least a 40 kgs per year consumption of meat per person. That is the huge gap that is available for meat consumption. Slowly, it is definitely increasing. The major challenge in poultry meat is the live bird price. There is a huge fluctuation in live bird price. This is the overall historical prices. When I say live bird price, these are the prices where the at the farm gate, the birds are sold to wholesalers, and from the wholesalers it goes to the retailer. So there is a lot of layers in the channels, and so obviously today, if you see, today's prices is at around 90 to 95 because of the high cost of soya and raw material, because of which the live bird production cost per kg is very high, and sometimes, in fact, the prices goes down because of the flush and the lean, and in the lean season, the prices go down much lower than the production cost. So the other thing is the bottleneck is the cold chain. As I think in dairy also we see that cold chain is one of the major bottleneck for development of food processed meat. One is, yes, power supply is not stable. We require more governmental concession. The other major thing is the consumer end of the cold chain. When I say consumer end of the cold chain, an average household has only a 250 to 300 liters of refrigerator. And even in that refrigerator, how much is the deep freezer? Deep freezer is very less, maybe 50 to 100 liters maximum. So in which you can only store some paneer or dairy products or some vegetables. You cannot store more of processed food. That's another bottleneck. And when I was working in Suguna also, we realized that we have this retail outlets called Suguna Daily Fresh, where it is a we have around 400 to 500 outlets across in South India, where consumers come and buy frozen processed meat because they don't have the capacity store, but they want to buy. They buy and serve it to the children. So that's a major drawback that you have, the consumer end of the cold chain. So hence, if the government has to work with, if you see abroad, internationally, every household has a deep freezer. Apart from the refrigerator, they have a deep freezer. So deep freezer sales is very critical in the Indian market to develop the chain. Other major initiative that all the, as I said, major companies are doing is that they are opening up retail chains where it is hygienic, clean, where you can get good meat, processed meat, and like Venky's has it, Suguna has it. Then there are private players like Green Check. Godrej has their, they have used the modern trade where they have provided refrigerators to sell their products. So this is another major chain of development that is happening and which is very critical for the market. So what are the opportunities for poultry? In poultry, one of the major opportunities that as long as you have new products, value-added products like frozen or chilled products, ready to cook and ready to eat. When I say frozen and chilled products, the meat products are different. Ready to cook and ready to eat is your kebabs, your cutlets, your so many other snack products, Indian ethnic. Even today, chicken biryani and all are packed. Chicken curry, butter chicken is packed. So these are major things wherein, especially after post-COVID, consumers are looking at ready to cook and ready to eat products in a big way. You have the potential for egg powder plants. You have for new formulations and manufacturing. So these are major opportunities in the poultry industry. Anyone who wants to open, obviously we can look at these products to develop. What are the major benefits that government offers into the poultry segment is 100% FDI is permitted in the food to the automatic route for this poultry processing. There is concessional rate of customs duty for importing equipment under the project, income tax deductions, especially at the rate of 150% for setting up and operating cold chain, 100% tax exemption for food processing, preservation, and packaging for the 5 years. There's schemes from NABARD. So there are a lot of physical incentives for a new player to enter into the market. And apart from this, there are a lot of state government schemes and food processing industry. When they set up mega food product, park, then there is scheme for cold chain, value addition, modernization of abattoirs. Okay, all these things are there, which is helping the new investors who are going to enter into the Indian. So these are major things that what we can look at, and thanks a lot for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rajan. It was quite a crisp and brief, introduction into the entire, cold chain and also into the meat processing sector. I would now, basically a few things that have emerged for our entrepreneurs here. I think one question that also comes up, Mr. Rajan, is that similar to the dairy processing industry, we also have kind of an issue in the meat processing sector, like a competition which is coming from the protein-based products, like say alternate products such as the plant-based proteins. So I don't know exactly what is the term that is used as of today, because each company has its own naming of it. Like somebody like the Let's Meat, then there is Let's Veg, then Good Food Institute has come up with a new set of companies which are into these alternate protein-based kind of plant-based meats. So what is your take on that, and is it a serious competitor that somebody should be looking at?
No, let me add here that one is that vegan meat, that is what we call usually the vegan meat. It's not a major competition due to various reasons. One is definitely the taste matters. And plus, what is the advantage of meat is that it has the amino acids which are required for the human body. The plant-based things, you cannot get all the amino acid. For example, egg has 9 amino acids which are most essential for the thing. So obviously a meat-based protein gives all the amino acids Whereas a plant-based protein will never give all the amino acids. So there is a micronutrient deficiency that will happen in the plant-based thing. Plus, one is the taste. Definitely, many people have tried, and so obviously it's not a big threat. Yes, definitely it becomes more of a fad, and it's more of a niche market that will
Right,
happen.
right. And also, I don't know, I mean, if it is a propaganda or something, there are people like Lucius, right, who are pro and predominantly from the meat and seafood processing sector, who came into existence for that, and now they have become a unicorn. And very recently, they have come out with a kind of a brand called Uncrave, which mainly targets at this, plant-based, kind of protein or plant-based meat. So that is something that many of our entrepreneurs want to look at and see if, what is the potential for general meat processing. Next, something which emerged when you were talking also is that cold chain by itself is an entrepreneurship opportunity, right? Maybe not the cold chain to large capacities, but like how you said, at the village level or at tier 2, tier 3 kind of cities. There is obviously an opportunity to set up cold chains which could cater to both the meat processing as well as the dairy processing sector.
Yes, definitely cold chain has a lot of potential. Even if there is a retail outlet for cold chain based retailer, it's a huge opportunity, because today such outlets are not there, and then it's a opportunity definitely for any entrepreneur who wants to set up cold chain or cold chain based retail outlets also.
Right, right.
Because today companies are also on their own trying to develop franchise retail outlets where they will have such cold chain outlets. So that's a major area of development, definitely.
Sure, sure. With that, I would want to pause for a minute. We have a poll coming up. I would request all the participants to take a look at your screen who are using mobiles as well as on the laptops. So you will see a set of 3 questions on your screen. I would suggest all of you to kindly answer it. The poll will be live for about 15 to 20 seconds, and then we can continue with the session. To all the participants who might just be listening to this session, there are 3 questions that have popped up on your screen. Kindly take a look at it, and I would request all of you to give your answers to it. The poll is live right now, and for about 15 more seconds, you can take a look at it. I think most of you are able to see your screen. There are about 3 questions. I would request all of you to kindly answer it. Okay. Thank you for your votes and also the answers that you have shared. Something which came up in my mind when the session was going on. We are also working on ethanol-based projects, wherein ethanol is being made either using the grains or using the broken rice, basically using broken rice and with maize. So this is something that the government is promoting a lot. And something which has emerged out of this is there is a lot of one of the byproducts of making ethanol is DDGS. So DDGS is something that is it's actually becoming a problem from the ethanol sector as to how do they get rid of this DDGS. And DDGS is something that is used as a active ingredient in making the feed for poultry and meat processing. I mean, from the poultry and also for the cows as well as for the sheep. So anybody who wants to make feed for it, then DDGS is an active ingredient for that. So, something which we can be also looking at is from the poultry sector and other sectors is that eventually we'll be, having a good supply of DDGS or maybe even an oversupply of DDGS, which in turn could, lead to a reduction in the feed prices, both for the poultry as well as for the bovine sector. So this is a tidbit which I wanted to share. Something I think many of our existing industries, existing entrepreneurs keep coming back to us and saying that can I look at new products? So Mr. Rajan, if somebody is looking at meat processing as such, would you suggest any value-added products that they can look at, like say somebody like McCain's and things like that, where they do some processing and then again it's a freeze-dried product, and then you can use it by like something like ready-to-cook kind of products. What is your take on it?
No, definitely that is where the major scope is.
Right.
There are two parts in processing. One is your meat processing, then the value-added products. When I say value-added products, from the meat you make drumstick, cooked drumstick, ready-to-eat products, ready-to-cook products from your kebab, cutlets, all these products, even curries like your chicken curry, butter chicken, so many things. Yes, definitely that is where the opportunity is. The opportunity is not in your processed meat only. The opportunity is more towards value-added products. And definitely consumers are looking at value-added products in a big way, especially post-COVID, where consumers are using a lot of ready-to-cook and ready-to-eat products. So they just have to heat the product and then use it at home. So enormous. The scope is enormous. And if you bring innovative products, there's a huge scope for that.
Right. So we had an entrepreneur coming to us wherein, like how you have these RTH kind of, pouches. So on a similar line, what you're talking about, butter chicken and, gravy, chicken gravies and mutton gravies and all. So he wanted to, kind of get into the same sector, and also he's done some, research, and basically he's looking at the export market. Because export, I believe, is a huge opportunity in the meat processing sector.
Yeah, definitely export is much higher. In fact, out of the 2/3 sale goes for exports only. So obviously exports is 2 times more than the domestic thing. And definitely exports, especially where Indian diaspora is there, like Gulf, US, Canada, Australia, where Indian population is there, obviously they will definitely like all the Indian products, and they are used to such products. Okay, so there is a huge potential for that. There are two things. What you have said is the retort packing, where it's an ambient temperature packing. Like what you have your so many products are there in the market. So there are two options. One, you can go for a retort packing. The other is your frozen products. Yes, advantages are there for both things. Retort packing, the storage costs are lesser, but the only problem in retort packing is that the quality deteriorates over time. Though you might give a shelf life of 9 months or 12 months, but at the end of 6 months itself, the taste changes, all those things happen. But then in frozen, what happens is that you can keep it for 12 months, 18 months without any change in taste and everything. So but the storage costs are higher. So obviously there are advantages and disadvantages for both these products.
Right.
So there is export potential for both the products, both for retort and also for frozen products.
Right. Continuing this question to Mr. Rakesh Kumar, what is the potential for export for dairy processed products? Is it viable, or is it something which is not doable? So what is your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, in dairy industry also there is a lot of potential for the export products, and particularly the value addition products. I mean, they are more into the demand. Yeah, already, for example, we have around $350 million exports, and the target is to increase it to almost $100 million. So it means there's a lot of potential, and the products, particularly the long life products, yeah, so the value added products, they are having the better future for them. I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry, I was on. Yeah, so what you say is value-added products obviously has a good market potential,
Yes.
Which can be looked at. So I think the session has been very informative, both from
I
the
think Guru Prasad,
participant side.
there
Please go ahead.
is a question which is there by Divya D'Souza that what is preferred by the end consumer for, is it RTE,
retort or frozen? Yeah.
So
please
obviously, people who have frozen facility, frozen is the better product. RTE is good because of the cost and then lower thing, but then obviously retort, you cannot keep it much longer, shelf life will be lower, the quality deteriorates over time. So obviously these are some advantages, disadvantages for each of them. Frozen, it is the best form, but then the cost is high of storage. That's it.
Sure. So I think we have overshot our time. So I would like to thank both the participants as well as the eminent panelists that we have had today. Starting with Mr. Rakesh and then Mr. Deepesh Nambiar and Mr. Rajan Matthews. Thanks for spending our Monday morning trying to give information and also give us the bits and pitfalls of getting into each of these industries, both the pros and cons. So I would like to once again thank all the participants for being patiently going through this webinar and listening to us. Any questions that you have for any of the panelists, do shoot out to us. Our team will try to get the answers from them. And in case you have any questions regarding the setting up of the units or regarding the government schemes, because there are a host of government schemes which again we'll be talking about more in detail in tomorrow's session, tomorrow's first half session, where we'll be talking about government and also both the central government and the state government schemes, the MOFPI and the integrated cold chain schemes which are available, which are very valid and relevant to this particular sector. So with that, I would like to end our current session and would keep you informed that the next session is at 3 o'clock, where we'll be talking about the shelf life improvement and also what are the packaging options available. Do join us, and I'm sure it will be as good and as wonderful session as we have had as of now. Thank you once again. Thank you for participation and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Thank you, Deepesh.
Thank you, all the viewers.
Thanks.